For the fans, by the fans. Welcome to the only Angels postgame show that keeps it real, win or lose. No filters, no fluff, just raw reactions right after the final out. The Golden Stamos is polished up and somebody's about to take it home. A clutch hit, a game-saving grab, or just straight up hustle. We see you. But if you played like trash, you're getting the dreaded Nacho Night Award. We saw the missed calls, we saw the blown saves, the clutch moments, and the disasters too. Your comments are front and center, and yeah, we read all of them. Wanna let loose? Call in and sound off live. No scripts, no suits, no spin. This is raw, this is real, this is where the fans take over. This is the Heaty Postgame Show with Todd Fox. For the fans, by the fans.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, welcome in everybody to the Todd Fox Halos in the Infield post-game show. Yes, we are the last call at the bar. We are tip your waitress. It's almost time to go home. You can't stay here. You got to go somewhere else. That kind of thing. It's by the fans, for the fans, for the fans, by the fans. We are with you in the stands as we went to another game. That's why we're so late coming on tonight. Tomorrow will be a little earlier, obviously, being a day game. But sad to come on here to tell you, if you haven't known or heard, the Angels lost and the win streak is over. It's over, and we're back to...
no! We suck again!
Dude, it was terrible tonight as you had only, what is it? The stats here spell it out. 2 runs, 9 hits. But in the 7th inning, it was 1 run, 4 hits. It was that old broken record before the win streak when we were at home that just kept showing up in the scoreboard. Again, you're not really working walks. You're not really getting guys on. You're not moving them over. It's hey, pop up, ground out. They had only 7 strikeouts tonight. So, again, it's under the 10 threshold. It's closer to the average of between 5.5 and 6 strikeouts per game, which is the MLB average. But, again, you had 9 hits. 8 of the 9 players had a hit tonight. Actually, I'm sorry. You had, it was 8 of the 9 hitters had hits. You would think, okay, you had contributions from about 90% of the lineup. However, you didn't get a hit when it mattered. And so you look at it right here. You had Neto go 1 for 4. You had Shonawell go for 2 for 4. Mancada went 1 for 3. Ward went 1 for 3. Soler went 1 for 4. Ohapi went 1 for 4. And the important thing about Ohapi, Soler, and Ward tonight, they had 2 strikeouts. And again, you had Soler with a strikeout. Those 5 strikeouts, though, did matter because they were with runners on at the time, and you needed those big bats to come through, and they just didn't tonight. And it was really weird with the pitching performance by the Marlins. You thought Quantrill only going 4 1/3 or 4 2/3, something like that. I think it was 3 2/3. He didn't even go that long in this game. You thought, okay, 3 1/3. You would think the Angels would be able to get something going. They just really didn't do it. Disappointments for tonight. Kyron Paris 0 for 3. Just not really although the hits were dispersed throughout the lineup, you just didn't feel like they had any mojo tonight. And on a night where it's like, okay, you're back game 2. Okay, you lost. It does suck. It was military appreciation night, so there was a good vibe in the stands. I was really hoping the Angels would knock one up here, but you know what? You got to win it tomorrow, get back to 500, win the series. And I'm really feeling down because this night started. We went to the tailgate for Yvette's family. Rest in peace as she passed away far too young. And we were there, celebrating her life at Bruheim before the game. And then they went in there and they had her name in the lights in the 8th inning. But I remember her mom and her aunt were like, man, I really want them to win tonight. I hope they could win for her. And that's all I could think about. I was thinking, man, if we could lose 18-0 tomorrow, I'll take a win tonight for Yvette. Unfortunately, the Angels couldn't come through for her. And the Marlins have a bunch of nobodies, no names, and they literally did their thing and walked away with an easy victory. They were the ones all smiling. And this game started weird too because, again, Quantrill, he really didn't have his best stuff, but the Angels just weren't touching him. And for him to get yanked so early, I was like, is there something wrong? But they had him like as almost like an opening starter. And Soriano really didn't have it. He fell behind, just like last night. Too many walks. They're not aggressive in the strike zone as much over the last week or so, and they were able to pull out wins. But tonight, man, Soriano, he really got into a lot of trouble, really early, working a lot of walks, helping out the Marlins, keeping base runners in traffic and keeping them with the momentum. They left 11 guys on base because they had a ton of guys bouncing around on the base pads all night. They went 4 for 14 with runners in scoring position. The Angels went 2 for 6, leaving on 6. And this game, it's weird. I blame the offense and not as much the pitching. I blame the decisions in going with Soriano 4 2/3, but he was up to 97 pitches. Okay, you take him out. Burke is a good replacement, an inning and a third, only allowing a hit, getting a strikeout, only throwing 15 pitches. Where I disagree, where I totally wholeheartedly disagree, and this is a Manassian / Ron Washington move. Caden Dana, you're going to screw this kid over. You're going to ruin his career. You're Joe Adeling him right now. He does have the stuff to become a starter at some point. You let him dominate in the minors, get his confidence up, plant his fastball nice and consistent, and so he sets up his other pitches and wait till he's dominant to pull him up. You've already given him a cup of coffee a couple times, but there's no reason to keep bringing him up as a non-starter. He is a freaking starter. Why are we bringing him up to then pitch only 2 or 3 innings and send him back down? Even if he throws perfect innings, what are you doing to his confidence to then send him back down? But when he's come up this year, he's sporting a 7 ERA. So you're not helping his confidence. You're not, any kind of confidence that he's building in the minors, you're totally destroying. So I don't understand this move. There's plenty of pitchers that they could pull up that are straight relievers that could do just as good or better job as Dana. So why are you going to screw with a kid that has the potential to be something great? That's just the Angel way. So I'm pretty pissed off about that. We're really quick over the scoring summary. Again, we're on here late, and I appreciate you being on with us as well. Simon and Garfunkel, whoever the hell that is, single to left. Hicks scored. It was 1-0. Ward gets a sacrifice fly to make it 1-1. Stowers, yes, the great Stowers, drives in a run to make it 2-1. Wagaman, our guy from last year, knocks in another run, his 4th run of the series already. That makes it 3-1. Norby, good old Norby, homer to left, and that was the kill shot right there. He stepped on our throat with that 3-run dinger that, again, Grillmaster pointed out that if just maybe Taylor Ward's ears weren't slowing him down, he might have had a play on that ball in the first row because that's where it landed. Barely clearing that small short fence.
Like because we were sitting right next to each other. It looked like it had just bounced right off the top of the short wall and then went into the first row. If Ward was playing a lot more towards the line, I think he makes that play, maybe leap a little bit into the stands and potentially catch it there to keep it at 3-1.
I don't even think he had to leap. He could have just put his arm up, but we'll never know. Soler added a run with Ward scoring after Ward broke the Angels' all-time record of 10 consecutive games with an extra base hit. So, with that being said, very disappointing game. And again, that Grillmaster pointed out when I didn't realize it was Jansen Junk from last year, but he came in for a 5-inning save. So Jansen Junk comes in to knock one out, and he pitches his ass off. And this is a guy we let go. And
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. He's sporting a 1.80 ERA for the Marlins, one of the few bright spots on that club. So, oh my gosh, I gotta see his stats, what he did last year. He was with the Brewers, and he had a 4.91 ERA and also 6.75. So this year he's turned it around big time with Miami. So he found his mojo. So at least he didn't find his mojo after he left us immediately. So with that being said, let's get into some awards. Really an award for everybody out there as far as being up right now late for us. We really appreciate that. We're in town at the game. It just took us a little longer to get home. Shout out to Stir Boogie and everyone that was there tonight. Let me get to the Angels did not win, so we have to play this slide. We lost from first pitch to last pitch. We never had the lead. Well, let's do the awards, shall we? We'll jump into this one real quick. The John Stamos Award tonight goes to... Well, let's go to the John Stamos Award tonight, and then we're going to give it to Norby. I think I'm agreeing with Grillmaster here. 3 for 5 tonight. He was a pain in the ass. He hit the 3-run homer. That was effectively the game winner right there. Yeah, that Connor Norby, that one baseball card that every kid has that they dream of, Connor Norby. So the Marlins win. They get that one. Let's go to who gets the Nacho Night Award.
Nacho Night, oh yeah, Nacho Night. Pile it up, load it high. Extra shame, hold the pride. Grab a fork, take a dive. Dignity's gone, but the cheese survived. Moldy cheese, stale chips, what a sight. Foggy dreams gone tonight. Had a bad night, lost the fight. No more crunch, just take a bite. It's the Nacho Night Award.
Well, the Nacho Night Award, there's not a clear-cut winner, as we were talking about here earlier. But Grillmaster seems to be going with Soriano as the Nacho Night Award. But I have to hand it off to Angels management for, again, using Caden Dana in the wrong way. And so we're going to share the nachos between him and Soriano. And, there's not one clear-cut hitter to give it to. So, yeah, we'll go with the pitching tonight. So we'll go with that. So that being said, we're going to jump into comments because there's not too many people on, and that's better for you to get your comments read. And as far as, your voice heard on here. Let's start off with Wilbur saying, "Oh no, we suck again." Because we do suck again tonight.
Oh no, we suck again.
Yep, and he also says it's Spritz o'clock. Well, by the way, Wilbur, I got your order earlier today. It's not going to go out till Tuesday, but we will send you those shirts. So we got your order, man. So with that being said, it's Spritz o'clock.
O'clock, Angels play. Win or lose, we toast today. Sip and cheer, no matter score. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more.
Dimitro saying exactly what everyone thought, which is the curse of the thong started today. That was so terrible from last night.
2 whole days of it. The shop girl says we could have been a half game behind the trash Astros. What the heck?
Yeah. Patrick Carrillo says Jose Soriano should not be in the league. He's god awful.
Disagree.
I don't know about that. Hungover Dan Rios. That's not a shock. Eddie Perez says season's over. No, sir. No.
What does Roger Lodge say?
And a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Shop Girl says Angels' schedule will be tough for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, it is a tough June. James, do you want to read that
James says, who TF is that to the right of him? Oh, James.
It is Grillmaster. It's not my son.
Yeah, it's a slim down Grillmaster, actually.
There you go. Dusty says, in the words of the immortal Mike Scioscia, tomorrow we turn the page. Boy, he turned a lot
more
of pages.
like later today.
Yes. It was fun while it lasted, Josh says. Dan says, me love you long time.
There's a lot of baseball left to be played. And the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny. And me love you long time.
By the way, all of us are asking,
oh no, what happened? Oh no, how terrible. That's just awful. How terrible. Oh no.
Okay, that's not cool, Demetrio. Q, how dare you? Q, how dare you?
That is pretty funny, though. That is funny.
How dare you?
Also, you got Gerard saying, rest in peace, Yvette. Absolutely. We miss that girl. Gerard says, I'm worried about another starting pitcher being ruined. What's the plan for Dana? Feels like Detmer's 2.0. That is true. I mean, you're not even allowing this guy to get to Detmer status. Also, Dusty Spin says Yvette took a break tonight to be with her family. She'll be back helping the Halos tomorrow night. Rest in peace. I love that, Dusty Spins. I really do. I really do. B Train says, well, all good things have to come to an end. Sweep the Yankees and I'll be happy again. If only we can go that far.
That is going to be really hard to do.
Yeah, it will be. Eric says, why the fuck is Adele and Renifo starting at this point? Neither of them are contributing jack shit, even in spite of an 8-game winning streak. And Dana came up and is going right back down. Laugh out loud. What the fuck? Yeah, that's terrible, bro. I mean, at that point, they don't even put a name tag on your locker. You're just blank.
And we DFA'd Sean Anderson to bring up Dana. Honestly, we shouldn't have DFA'd Anderson. It was just one bad night.
Well, he had a blow up with the Dodgers, but he straightened it out too. So yeah, he's had a couple bad nights, but look, I don't know. I mean, you knew what he was getting into. He had to pitch perfect to stay here.
He did what he could. I mean, that's fine. We'll get Stevenson and Bachman back pretty soon here.
Yeah. B Train says Ward should be our DH. Eric Ward also says if Moore keeps swatting in Salt Lake, someone's going to go back down or get DFA'd. Please let it be Newman. Yeah, that would be the guy. Crazy 2 Ward was drafted as a catcher. Fun fact. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Also, B Train, where the train wreck G-Pay been? Ooh, okay, that's between you guys. Sarah says Soriano needs to have more confidence that he has the stuff to throw in the strike zone. The coaches need to show Soriano tough love in teaching him before the next start. He will never learn. He needs to attack the zone a lot more. I totally agree, Sarah. B-Train says Morris hitting 230 with 1 home run, 40 strikeouts, and 120 at bats. Yeah, it's going to be a minute before he gets called up. I agree. Let's see. Also, you got James says, I'll be your wish. I'll be your fantasy. Oh, God. J Dog says we are now 0-1 since the Todd Fox thong era.
Oh, no. We've been exposed.
Yes, we have. J Ram says, hey, Todd, I went to Bruheim today and mentioned Heedy, and they said they needed a voucher. Anyway, I saw you there, but didn't want to bother you while you were with your family. No, it's cool, man. You could have said hi, bro. And the voucher thing, dude, I don't know what that – dude, again, that's the 3rd or 4th person that has asked for that, and they've been turned down out of like 20, though, because I know some bartenders honor it and some don't. Like, I really need to get with them because it's pissed off a few people.
It happened to me when we were there. I couldn't get the discount on a beer that I got.
Yeah. J Ram says, also, I was starstruck because I was thinking about you wearing a thong. You shouldn't be doing that, J Ram. You shouldn't be doing that.
God.
That's going to go down in infamy with me. J-Dog says these are the angels I know and love. Also, no reason Dana should be in the bullpen. Absolutely. Robert says
played flatter than Todd's out. Oh, wow,
dude, that sucks.
How dare you?
Man. Also, Dana called up being used in the bullpen and sent back down. What the hell is going on now here? Shoot, I need to ask. Well, let's ask them.
What the hell's going on out here?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Even the coach doesn't know. Perry is worthless right there. Tamir 20 checks in with that was a dumb nuts Nevin move by bringing Dana in and throwing away the game. Yeah, he wasn't chasing a win. By the way, Eric says your tasty nut boy had his wallet stolen in Vegas. Dude spent like 10 minutes on the post game because he was up late gambling. What an absolute shithole of a podcast.
Wait, did that actually happen, Eric? Did Gavin Carlson actually have his wallet stolen?
I need to grab some clips from that episode.
I think he was looking for yummy tasting nuts instead of his wallet.
I did add this, Eric, to the montage.
On everybody, my name is Gavin Carlson, former credential journalist in the LA area. How about a yummy tasting nut? If you don't know who I am, what's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist in the LA area, spent not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 years covering UCLA sports, specifically with the Daily Bruin, writing articles, conducting interviews, all that good stuff. Crack into a good source of protein with how about a yummy tasting nut. I love the nut. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Had me fired up.
He loves him some nuts. That's for sure, dude. He loves the nuts. I gotta check that out. Also, why does your son need to have a goatee?
F you.
J-Dog says Joe Adele is a new Jose Suarez on the roster, sucking and not getting DFA'd for a reason. Wow. Robert says Dana is screwed. God forbid we sign David Robinson, Will Smith, Adam Ottavino, Joe Kelly, or any pitcher with a pulse. Screw Artie. Anthony says, Todd, I had a bad feeling when the Stukas flew over the stadium. Yes! I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, maybe that, you had the Stukas on, I think, game 1 and game 2 of the season, and all of a sudden they bring them out for Military Appreciation Day. Like, I get it, but we didn't win when we had those Stukas fly over before.
Stukas is the planes that fly over?
They're a version of the Stukas. They're from that era. They're American fighter jets.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Soriano pitches good in away games, but not at Angel Stadium. He's too inconsistent.
And it's very strange since Angel Stadium does play more to the pitchers.
Mm-hmm. Patrick says, I know how to cheer you up, Todd. Balls in my mouth.
For you to check out what I want. I want balls and John
in
Stamos.
His mouth. Also, Demetrio says today's offense gave me 17 to 25 vibes. Ooh. Saucy says, so is tonight regular Heaty or Heaty after dark? I think it's a little bit of both.
It's a 2-day experience of Heaty.
But see, I'm wearing pants this time. So, and especially with Grillmaster in here, I don't think he'd be in here if I wasn't wearing it. So Eric says, yes, he talked about his wallet being and his ID being stolen.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
USC, hell yeah, fight on B-Train. Screw UCLA. J-Dog says Eric Wagaman coming up clutch again. Crazy how we just DFA'd him. Joe Adele and Reed Detmers remain on the team.
He wasn't DFA, J-Dog. He was a free agent that Miami picked up on, I think, a league minimum contract in the offseason.
Yeah, and Wagaman last year towards the end of the season really got hot. So
yes, he did.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I think CJ Doc says, I think Grill definitely would be in there. That's just disgusting.
No.
Let me while we're caught up on comments because we don't have too many people up. And again, I thank you all for being on right now. As far as it being so late, it's actually Sunday morning. Sarah Gomez says, why do you think Soriano does bad at home? I don't know. He doesn't really attack. Like, his sinker doesn't really move as much as it should when he's at home, and he doesn't have too much movement on it. And his fastball doesn't paint the corners for whatever reason. That's what I know.
There's sometimes something I think about certain pitchers. They pitch at a certain ballpark and they just don't perform as well. And I could actually attest the same to one of our own, Yusei Kikuchi. Like, when he was with the Mariners and even when he started with the Blue Jays, statistically, they always showed Yusei Kikuchi in Angel Stadium had one of the worst ERAs ever. Mm-hmm. So there's always something for certain pitchers. They just go to one particular location and then they just don't do well. Like, look at the Angels as a whole in Houston as another example. They're horrible there. They're like, 20 and 80 in their last 100 tries in Houston or something like that.
There's something like 30 and 60 something. It's something ridiculous. Eric wants to know.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Also, Demetrius says, "Oh shit, that's Grillmaster. What up, bro? Never seen you before."
Well, here I am
in the flesh. Saucy says, "Just win the series. Losses happen. Now we have to see what this team is really made of." Yeah, you. Here's the thing, and we talked about this too, Grillmaster, on the way over here.
Yeah.
You got to clean up tomorrow, get the W, win the series, and then we'll see what this team's made of when the big bad Yankees come to town.
Yes, and historically, we have played decently versus the Yankees, especially here.
Mm-hmm. J-Dog brings up a good point. Imagine if Wagaman was still on the team. Gooby would be like, hey, Wagaman, Wednesday, hey.
Oh, God. God.
Dude, I swear to God, if they still had the post-game show or the live show before outside the stadium, I'd literally try to get a bunch of people or a bunch of our people going, hey, when every time he talks. Patrick says, I wonder what a trade package of Adele Soriano Award would get. Not much.
Yeah, no. The only one with value there is Ward. Soriano, you could argue, is still unproven, and Adele is Adele.
Yeah, Adele is like another Moniak or a Mancada, because remember, Mancada was pretty much given up on by Chicago. So, yeah, we'll have to see. Mancada's paying off for us right now, but he wasn't for Chicago at all. Adele should be traded. We have way too many outfielders. Tamara 20 says we need to win the next 2 series because the Angels go to Cleveland, and that's another place that always kicks our asses. Yeah, dude, we never do good there.
We had a good series there last year, but before that, the last 6 years, we either won 1 out of 3 or got swept.
Yeah, that's true. Eric says you need to invite the Locked On girls to a debate baseball knowledge sometimes. I want to see Todd wipe the floor with these clowns. Halo bros for life, right? You laugh out loud, fucking asshats. Well, here's what I'll say with that real quick. The fact of the matter is, I had 2 people comment on our show yesterday, and they were like, you could tell they were Locked On guys. And again, I love Angels baseball content, so it's not like I'm shitting on all the podcasts. They're the only ones I really have a problem with. Talking Halos is really good friends. They're great guys. If you want to listen to a podcast that's straightforward, have a little bit of jokes, they're really cool, down to earth people on and off the screen. They're the type of fans like us that you'd love to have a beer with and sit down and rap with us back and forth, because we're like you guys. Same with them. Where I have a problem with Locked On is like what I've explained before, and it's like we had charity events that were like, oh yeah, hey, we'll hang out with you guys, or we'll be there. And then when it came time, they ghost us. And then it's like when Fernando messaged him, or I would message him, and I'd be like, hey, dude, like, can we do something? This and this is before they got Locked On. When we first started, when they were the Super Halo Brothers. And then we were the first ones to congratulate them, to be like, hey, awesome, man. That's great. You guys got that gig. You're going to do really great. And I'm like, hey, you guys got a nice little platform. How about having us on? We could cross promote. A lot of our fans don't know you guys. A lot of your fans don't know us. It'd be good. It'd be good, and it'd be good to rally. And then we had the whole Artie thing too, where we wanted to get all the podcasts together so we can do a movement. And they were like, yeah, we're there. And then they weren't there, and then so it's funny, because the last straw for me was like Fernando hit him up, and then they were like apologetic, and we're like, oh, we're sorry. And then I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then their excuse was, oh, we don't check our social medias as good. We're not good at that. It's like, bro, your entire show is made up by fan email and checking the social media. We see you responding to everybody. So how do you miss ours? It's because you don't want to be. My biggest problem was, if you really don't like us, and it's okay. You don't have to like us. I'm not saying I'm forcing myself on you. Just tell us, don't just be like, hey, like we're cool. Don't worry about it. And then all of a sudden, like, we try to rap with you and everything, and you're just like ghosting us. It's like, come on, bro, like, be a man about it. Just say, hey, we don't like your platform, or we don't like how you guys do anything. We don't want to be associated with you. And I wouldn't take that to heart. I'd be like, okay, you guys do you. Because we've had someone tell us that before, and I'm like, okay, cool. I just don't like being lied to, dude. So if you give me that energy, I'm going to give you some shit energy right back. Because Grillmaster knows me, and all the other people know me. I rap with the fans. I talk with whoever. And we're a community, right? I'm cool. And I talk to other podcasts. I'm cool. But like, if someone gives me crap, I'm going to give it right back. If you're straight up with me, I'm more than straight up with you. That's all. I just, what do you call it? I just love, like I'm all about giving what's, I'm not give and take, where it's like, someone can give to me and I just take and shit. So it's like, I'm more of like, you give me that energy, I give it right back to you, and vice versa. So I don't know. That's a long-winded story, but that's where we had. They would never do a show with us ever.
I have a question, actually. I thought we were going to be doing the sell the team chant tonight.
I didn't even hear it, dude.
That was shocking. And wasn't this planned for like 2 weeks?
Yep.
That I was honestly expecting to do it with you guys tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know how that didn't go down.
Well, because nobody wanted to do it, because again, the team was on an 8-game win streak. if this team was on that 8-game losing streak earlier, 8-21, people would have did it. And again, we were trying to set up things with, we were at the game, Chris. We were in 260. We're always in 260, but no, like we have like, we were trying to get something together last year where we protest outside the stadium. We gave away a lot of shirts. We sold a lot of shirts, and it's like we wanted to make, and people were like, "Oh, why are you doing that?" It's like, well, dude, the team's shit. The owner's running it into the ground. It's like we're not going to get him to sell the team, obviously, because we print up some shirts. But the whole point is to embarrass him. His ego is fragile. You're talking about an owner that, because he got booed last year's opening day, he took himself off the Calling All Angels montage because he didn't like hearing it. He got so embarrassed on opening day. He got booed more than freaking Shohei Ohtani. So that's the type of crap that you're dealing with. So the best place to hit him is ego. Get on the news, have the posters before you enter the parking lot with honk if you hate Artie or honk if Artie needs to sell. You start doing stuff like that. That goes viral, goes to TikTok, goes to freaking all these places that will pick it up, and it goes viral, and then it's going to come back to him. And then all of a sudden you're going to see articles online, Angels having problems here and there. And dude, he can't move the Angels. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. His family doesn't want to keep the team. So it's like, again, he's locked into 2032. Nothing that the fans are going to do are going to make him move this team. He can't even afford the upgrades on the stadium. So how the hell is he going to pay the money to then move?
And he's like, what, renting the stadium like
for
$1 a day, $1 a month?
And he's losing 50.
What is it?
He's losing $50 million this year.
Is it rent for $1 a day, $1 a month? I don't know what that
it's $1 a year.
Oh, it's annually.
And
That's insane.
And the only money that the city of Anaheim makes, they get a pretty hefty chunk of the what is it called? The stadium ticket sales and also the parking lot money if and only if the Angels reach a 3 million fans threshold, which they haven't hit since 2015.
I was going to say, and especially tonight, I mean, Angel Stadium was dead.
Yeah, they're not going to hit 3 million doing that. I would so join in on that, Todd. All of a sudden, 20 people start going, hey. Exactly.
That would be fun.
Sarah says pitchers were rocking the Angels since certain players popping up a lot when swinging in the zones. They shouldn't be near them. Wasn't that the pitchers were doing bad? The Angels need to learn how to hit the pitching. Exactly. And go the other way and do the little things, Nut Boy sucks even worse than Super Halos. Wilbur says we can gang up on like in 108 and say, hey, behind all the kids trying to get the balls. I'd be down for that. Eric Ward says, I remember that one hippie Halo bro called in one night and said he'd help out with a charity. I guess that never happened. Yeah.
Oh, who was the hippie Halo?
It was
Eric?
John. John called in and was all like, hey man, I'm so sorry. And he was like, he's like, we're gonna do better. Like we have video of it, and we have receipts through emails about how, we're so sorry. And then you know what the biggest slap in the face is?
Tell me.
I'm not a freaking celebrity at all. Don't consider myself that. Don't even consider myself a freaking like a legit YouTuber. I'm just a guy, a fan in the stands, right? But in the Angels community, I know of them. They know of me. We know of other, like when other podcasts come, like when Angel Central comes, I know Tim, I know VT, I know all the other guys. I even when Light That Baby Up or Rocks in the Outfield was around, I knew what those guys looked like. At least I know Halo Tees. I can name you all the guys that do social media, right? Even Swilly, all of them, right? And I know how they look like in person because you see them all over the feeds. Whether they like it or not, I pop up on their feed and they pop up on my feed, right? So my point is, when I went to the Ohapi thing, we're literally interviewing people right in front of them, right? Where I interviewed a couple Angels pitchers. I interviewed Moniak, and I was talking to Ohapi.
Yeah, I was going to say,
so
did do something recently.
Yeah, it was at last year's benefit, right? They're there honking their shirts, right? Not even paying attention to the players or the fans. It's fine. They're doing them, right? I go over to say hi to John, and this is before I had a falling out with him. And I wasn't really too impressed with him, but I was just like, hey, I'm going to say hi to him. Go over there, say hi. I shook his hand, and we talked for a couple minutes. And then I go over to his brother, and his brother clearly knows who I am. I know who his brother is. Again, we see each other all over social media. And he goes, "Oh, who are you?" I'm like, "Oh, fuck you then." I was like, okay.
You just tried to forget who you were?
Yeah. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he shook my hand and he goes, "Who are you again?" I'm like, "All right." And like he kind of looked at me and looked away. I'm like,
maybe he just
gotcha.
forgot who you were.
No. Dude, I was talking to his brother like 2 feet away from him for like 5 or 10 minutes. He heard our conversation. I was listening. I could hear him talk to either John or John's wife or his wife or somebody. He was talking to somebody. I could hear him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he could hear me. So even if he didn't recognize me, so I'm like, okay, you're big timing me, dude. Okay. So I was like, I know where you fall on that, because it's usually if any interaction we had was with John and myself or John and Fernando. It's never Mike or whatever his name is. But they know. I mean, come on, dude. They talk. I mean, it's just like me and Fernando and the other guys on this thing. So drama, guys and gals. I'm sorry. Drama. But that's exactly what happened. Gerard says, "I feel you, Todd, on that one." Also, Patrick says, "You keep it real. You're real kind of guy, and you don't take shit off of anyone." I don't. I really don't, dude. Also, we dropped Sean Anderson like a hot tamale. Damn, that boy stinks.
Sean Anderson literally looks like a guy who should be in a surf contest, honestly.
He does. Gerard says sell. Exactly. Patrick says apparently Artie is buying land in Arizona.
For what?
Yeah,
a new house in Tucson?
He spent more on that land in Arizona than he did for the actual Angels back in 2004.
What?
Yeah, he spent like $225 on that land, and I think right now, I think the Angels went for $198 or $207, something like that.
When he bought the team?
Mm-hmm. Granted, that was before inflation.
I was 3 years old when that happened,
and that was before Disney. Disney should have held on to him. They were losing $10 million a year with the Angels, and if they would have held on to him, the TV contracts and everything else came in, so they were going to make a shit ton of money. Yeah, Patrick Tamir Tony says, "Yeah, I saw that right there, an article about that." Yeah, there's a lot right there to go through. Jeez. But real quick, I will go through the scores, as we're probably going to do a 24. Oh yeah, look at 245 million.
Oh, that's wild.
20 acres.
And yeah, J Dog comes in there, says buying land in Arizona to turn another property into his hellscape, just like the Big A. I mean, what would he do with it?
I think he would buy that land to develop it into either condos, or he would make it into what was that called again? Like sort of something like an OC vibe, but in Arizona, because there's no way Arizona can support 2 baseball teams.
I was going to say, it's not going to be 2 baseball teams. The only other thing you could do in Arizona is try to reincarnate Fernando's Coyotes.
Yeah. Now, if you were trying to say, like, for instance, we were getting wooed by like Utah or by freaking Portland, I would say, okay. And if we had the lease going up soon, but the MLB is so far behind with Ray's situation, they have to figure out whether they're going to transfer them to Orlando or somehow keep them in Tampa. You have Vegas barely breaking ground on their stadium, and you have the looming freaking strike. And you got to solve all that.
Is the strike at the end of this season or the next one?
The next one.
So it's the end of 26.
Because the collective bargaining agreement, they're not even close right now. So
yeah,
they want to get rid of guaranteed contracts, and so do I. I'm sick of that shit, because we wouldn't have Rendon. If
how would that turn into a situation in the NFL like where only a portion of the money is guaranteed, or would it be something else?
It would be that, and you would have to have a hard cap. So,
that's the one I want, especially if it's for the Dodgers and all of their unlimited spending.
Yeah. Also, waste of money on the land in Gilbert, Arizona, when it should have gone to stadium renovations. Absolutely.
What the heck's in Gilbert, Arizona anyway, aside from one of my friend's mansions?
Whatever drug lab Artie wants to build. Angels have the opportunity to win this next section of games versus the Baltimore series to keep the momentum, and they will win tomorrow and against the Yankees, so they can put up battles against the Guardians in Boston.
So Boston's an interesting case. I was actually speaking with one of my members about this yesterday. Now that's Sunday. He's a Red Sox fan, and he has said the Red Sox relief corps has been struggling, and after they win, they can't seem to build off momentum, so it's like they're alternating wins and losses. Boston was actually my dark horse to win the World Series this year after yeah, after all those free agents, I'm like, damn, the Red Sox look really good. And apparently they seem to be sputtering a bit. Yeah, I know that's a little surprising.
Plus, you have the problems with what's his name, Devers.
Rafael Devers is kind of turned into the Mike Trout of the team, being a diva.
Well, he's gone worse. I think he's like a healthy Rendon. You know, like he's really a dick. Nobody likes him.
And his
right now.
defense also is really bad too. If you've ever watched him in a Red Sox game,
that is the epitome. If you had to see what a healthy Rendon would look like, it's Rafael Devers.
Except Rendon has the defense while Devers holds the offense.
Yeah, because obviously Rendon's lost his offense for sure.
Hasn't hit a home run in 3 years.
Yeah, plus he's super lazy out there. Sarah says, I'm serious with the opportunity. I can see it opening up. Look, the West is all open. I mean, there is no clear-cut winner right there. It's just, hey, it's got to come down to the Angels playing consistent, or any team. If any team can play consistent and relatively injury-free, they're going to win that division straight up, but you're going to win it with probably like 89 wins, maybe. Let's finish up here. Patrick Carrillo says that would be the stupidest thing ever if they decided to move the team out of Orange County by itself is bigger than so many other markets. And it's the thing too. That's why it's never going to happen. I'm actually shocked that my Supersonics from years ago were moved from, like, I want to say one of the top 10 markets or top 15 in America to like number 48 or 58. That's why no one gives a shit about Oklahoma. And it just sucks that they're going to make the finals.
They're the Thunder now?
Yeah.
I thought they became Memphis.
Memphis was Vancouver.
Yeah, I am so out of tune with basketball.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in years. It's just the only game I watched recently was the Knicks Pacers because that was a throwback.
That was a great game one. If you watched game one,
that was an intense game. Yeah, Halliburton did the Reggie Miller. Oh, I was like,
the choke. This thing,
because I hated the Knicks back in the day. They were a bunch of bullies, dude.
They were cocky.
No, they were just a bunch of bullies. They had a lot of enforcers. There'd be fights. I always rooted for the Pacers.
And Stephen A. Smith also going nuts for them.
Yeah, I can't stand him. And I used to hate Spike Lee. I was like, man, Spike Lee's a dick. Patrick Carrillo says that would be the stupidest thing. Oh, yeah, I already did that right there. Sarah says the strike will be a big one, I feel. I think so, too.
Yeah.
Tamir 20 says, man, Rendon has lost everything and is still getting paid millions. $38 million, bro.
For one more season.
He does not care about his legacy. Drew says if the Angels can win 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 games in each series, then they can make the playoffs. Yeah, well, that's the thing we talked about.
Yeah.
All you got to do is win your series 65% of the time during the regular season. 65%, that's it. And you've got a 90 to 95% chance to make the playoffs.
What's our record? This would be an interesting question. What's our record if you just combine the series for those that we've won or lost? Now, this might be a bit late to do that right now since it's 12:30 in the morning, and I've been up for almost 22 hours.
Well, let me check the full schedule then. I could check that for you right now. They won 1 series.
They won the first 5 in a row.
Well, you won 2 series there, 3, 4. Yeah, you're right. No,
because we lost 2 of 3.
You won the first 4.
Won the first 4, then lost 2, won 5, lost 3, lost 4, lost 5, lost 6. So we're 6, 7, then you won. So we're roughly 500 on series. I think we're like 10-8 or something.
Yeah, we got to win more than we're losing. But
I don't know what the overall is. I'm gonna it looks like we're 10-8 on series. If somebody wants to fill me in on that and DM me in the morning, let me know. Because I clearly can't think for anything right now.
Yeah, you're getting tired. I got to wrap this up for you even. Let's see. Also,
I got 30 minutes to drive.
Patrick Carrillo says, I got really sick of basketball. I love the Clippers in the new area in Inglewood. Looks really cool, but holy cow, did I get bored of it and missing it physically? Yeah, it's physicality. Yeah, the physicality, not having it there, and then also just shooting too many threes. It's kind of boring. Sarah says, also, if Taylor took a simple deal that would cost a lot at all, it wouldn't cost a lot. Would we trade him still? No, if he's consistent, but he's never been consistent. That's the problem. How much would it be if it was a certain amount? I'd say you could get Taylor Ward on a 3-year deal. 4 years, I would say 100. He would get $100 million on 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. In 3 years, you could probably get him at 75 or 74 with a fourth-year option.
$25 million a year for a guy who is only hot in really little stretches.
That's the going rate right now until they fix the money situation.
I don't think Artie's got enough to shell out for just that.
No, I don't think so
That's
either.
a shame.
Yep. Patrick wants to unload him right now, but we'll have to see.
I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately, Patrick. I would love to see that happen because with me being in attendance, Taylor Ward completely tanked this game.
If you look at what they've done, like say for instance, the standings right now. If you look at where we're at in the standings, let me pop it up real quick. Yeah. So it's not that bad. I mean, like we'd have to be tanking worse than we were. I mean, with the loss tonight, despite that, we're only 4 out. So, I mean, as long as you're within 6 or less, you're going to be within striking zone. It'll be very tough for a general manager to trade away.
We're only about 2.5 or 3 out of the wild cards, so things are looking decent there. You have to continue winning like you were during the streak.
Yeah, and here I'll say one last thing on those players. Like say Sarah brought up Neto and Ohapi, right? So the last Talking Halos episode, which was pretty good, I listened to it. They were talking about do we extend? They want to both extend Neto and Ohapi. And they said, which one would you extend? And they said, well, who's the leader on the team? And I felt the guy who's like just a vibe guy, the guy you feed off of is Zach Neto. And I think the leader overall would be Ohapi. And they were both saying, they should get extensions, before their time's up, before they, get close to free agency where they still got a lot of club years. Some players take those contracts early. Some will play it out to be like, no, I want my payday. You saw Atlanta Braves give out generous $100 million to $150 million contracts.
They extended guys for cheap deals, going like very team-friendly deals. Look at guys like Sean Murphy, Michael Harris, Austin Riley, just to name 3. I can't name, and even Spencer Strider.
Yeah.
Those guys had like years of control left, and they just completely locked them up to deals of like north of 6 years.
Yeah, that's true.
So the Braves know what they're doing. Alex Anthopoulos, I think, is the GM of the Braves.
Yeah.
That guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he does. He sure does. Drew says, not sure if you talked about the team's needs, but stop leaving players on bases. Yeah, we talked about that when we started. Like they literally need to get guys over, start doing bunts. Because even you were saying, wow, that's interesting tonight. The Marlins bunted with guys on. They had a runner at first. They bunted him over to second. The bunter was safe.
And then they bunted again.
Yeah.
And they moved second and third, sacrificed an out to move 2 base runners. Somehow the Marlins did not score in that situation. But it's funny considering they showed situational baseball, something that the Angels couldn't do if their life depended on it.
Yeah, and in that situation, though, it did set themselves up really good because you get a single right there, you score 2 runs, or you sacrifice one in, or you get a wild pitch, or a single could score the second one. So you much rather have those opportunities right there. Last couple comments as we'll get into. Little Wayne says Ward and Soler are pretty much similar. Soler doesn't have a $25 million contract, but if you extend Neto and Ohapi and let Ward go, it won't age well. Just enjoy the career year.
I don't know when we got Soler. I think we're taking on $16.5 million in that contract, and I think there's another year or 2 left on it.
Mm-hmm. So there you go, right there. Sarah says I think it's a good contract right there. She also says Ward could be just a person that wants a little money. He seems to be that kind of person. Yeah, because he could have been traded, and he declined to trade. He declined free agency. So
Boo Boo with her millionth super sticker of the season, $10. This comment from Patrick's a good one. Chris Taylor and Austin Barnes would be decent pickups. You unloaded Dylan Ward for prospects and get those guys. I don't know if you're going to be able to get them in a package. I would like to see Chris Taylor. I don't think we need Austin Barnes because Travis d'Arnaud has done enough despite his average.
See, I would take Taylor on a minimum right now.
Yes,
because if he clears waivers, you could pick him up and just give him a minimum. The Dodgers would pay out the rest of his contract. You wouldn't even have to touch that. So I wouldn't trade for him per se.
Yeah, you don't need to trade for Taylor.
But if he clears waivers, hell yeah, I would take him and then drop Newman. So
yeah, I hi to you too, Boo Boo.
yes, ma'am. So with that being said, I think we'll wrap it up because it's about 12:37 in the morning. We
This has to
appreciate
be a record for latest show.
Yeah, we do have 91 people on. That's
Unbelievable.
Still pretty
it
cool.
Took a while, but it worked out.
Yeah.
I have got to get home.
Yeah. Grillmaster is going to take off. He's getting tired, and I am as well. But I appreciate each and every last one of you getting on. No Stukas tonight, unfortunately. I'm not playing the sad song again because even Lombardi couldn't figure out how we lost.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that, Patrick. Taking that player no matter what right there. So with that being said, everyone have a good night. We will see you tomorrow right after the game. Actually this morning we will, or this
later
afternoon.
today.
Yeah, later
we'll
today.
See you later today in probably about 16 hours. Hopefully the Angels can win tomorrow, take the series from Miami.
Yes, ma'am. Good night, Sarah, and everybody else on here. We appreciate every last one of you on the Heaty post game.